Hello everyone. So I welcome you again in this lecture. In the previous lecture, we were discussing about the different techniques of sorting. In that, we have discussed about selection sort. We have seen that the running time of the selection sort is big O of n square, and selection sort by property is non-adaptive in nature. That means it is not going to be affected by the nature of input. We have to do every time big O of n square comparisons will be required. So now we'll see what is bubble sort and how it works, and also we will discuss its properties and also analyze this algorithm. So let's start. Bubble sort is very simple in logic and also one of the well-known sorting algorithm. It takes big O of n square. So we will analyze this, that how it is big O of n square. Because it is big O of n square, so it is assumed to be like inefficient when you have a large amount of data, because if the n value is large, then n square will be also very large. So we have also different algorithms which provides the sorting in big O of n log n time, and also depending on the nature of data, we can have even do our task in big O of n time. So we will see in the later classes that how the different algorithms behave. Bubble sort by property is stable in nature. Stable in nature means it maintains the relative position. It maintains the relative order of the element. It maintains the position of the element while it sorts. Adaptive means that it is actually affects with the nature of the input. So it is actually getting affected by the nature of input. It means uh, it will not always behave big O of n square, but on a particular set of input, it may be less than big O of n square. Like in the case of selection sort, whatever the input you provide, you need to do all the comparison. It is not affected by the nature of the input. So in the selection state, so in the case of selection sort, it will always be big O of n square. But here, because it is adaptive in nature, we will see that for some input, this time may be going to reduce. So the basic idea of this algorithm is we are going to compare the pair of adjacent elements. So we are comparing two elements at a time, and which are actually neighbors to each other. And then if the first element is more than the second element, then we are going to swap it. So in this way we keep on doing uh, for some iterations, and finally when we stop, we get our uh, array sorted, or whatever the sequence we are having, that will be sorted at last. So we'll see in more details. Let's move to the next slide. Here this is a sequence of element given to us. Let's say this is an array which consists of 5 elements. So we will apply the bubble sort logic. In bubble sort we have two loops are working, the outer loop and inner loop. The outer loop is basically controls how many times we need to do the iterations, and inner loop is actually controlling how many times we do the swapping. What does it mean? It means okay, let us first understand that how the things will work, and then I will be able, then you are be able to understand that how the loop is used to implement this logic. So here what we are doing, we will be comparing the elements in pairs, and then if the first element is more than the second element, then it is going to be swapped. So this is the given sequence to us. We'll start from here. So we'll compare these two elements. Because the first element is more than the second element, we will swap it. So where you find this red color, that means we need to swap. So we will swap it. So now 1 will come here, 5 will come here. Now we'll compare the next two elements. When we compare the next two elements, again we will check the condition. If the first element is more than the second element, then we need to swap, otherwise it is not required. Okay, so in this case it is not required. We move to the next element and then again compare the two adjacent element. So we will actually take the let's say ith element and then I plus 1. So we are comparing the I with I plus 1. So here you can see that again this is red color, means this element is more than this element, so you need to swap. So you will swap this -5 here, 12 here, and then you compare like this. So we keep on doing Now this is the first iteration. In the first iteration, the observation is we are able to bring the largest element at the last position. So though in our example this is the largest element, it's already here, but even if it is not in this position, we will bring this element to the last element, to the last position. So bubble sort basically says that we are bringing the heaviest element at the bottom, and the light elements will bubble up, they will go upwards, and the heavy elements will sink, will go to the bottom. So this is first iteration. Then we move to the second iteration. Now initially we have this size array. In the next iteration our array will be of this much size, because this element is already in the proper position. So again we need to do this exercise again. So again we will compare the two elements, and this is actually not required to exchange, because first element is not more than second element. Now we will compare the two elements again, and you will find that you need to swap. So you keep on doing like this, and when this iteration will finish, you will find that the largest element among these elements will be at the last position. So this is our second iteration finished. So what we observe, that in each iteration we are able to bring the last element in that array to the last position. So initially we have this array, we bring it here. And next time we have this array and we bring this here. Now when we start a third iteration, we are working in this array, so we will bring the largest element here. Similarly we keep on working, and when we stop you will find your entire array is sorted. This is how this logic will work. So now we are implementing this logic by using the two for loops. We are having a nesting of for loop. So the outer for loop, actually controls how many iterations are required. So this is controlled. This part, this part, this part, this part is controlled by outer for loop, and this part, the comparing the individual element, this part, when you are comparing these elements, this is controlled by the inner for loop. So the question is how many times we will run the outer for loop, and how many times we will run the inner for loop. So the outer for loop is actually running n minus 1 time. If we have 6 element, you need to do this 5 times. You have to do this task, and when you are inside the for loop, you will be doing this n minus I times. So that means initially when you have 6 element, you are actually 1 2 3 4 5 6, sorry 1 2 3 4 5. So you will be comparing 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So you will be comparing 4 times. Okay, then when you are in the second iteration, then you will be comparing only 3 times. Then when you will third iteration, then you will be comparing one less time. That means at each successive iteration your number of comparison will be going to reduce, or roughly you can say initially you are comparing n minus 1 comparison you are doing, then you are doing n minus 2 comparisons, then n minus 3 comparisons. Likewise you keep on doing the comparisons. So this is how the things will work. Now let us see that how the entire logic is implemented using any programming language. So let's move to the pseudocode. This is the pseudocode of implementing the bubble sort logic. So here we can see we have a for loop, we have this is outer for loop, this is inner for loop. So here we are doing this n minus 1 times. So whatever the size is given to you, you need to perform the task n minus 1 time. Now why n minus 1 time? Actually we need one less comparison. If you have two items, let's say we have two items A and B, then to compare the two elements we need only one comparison. If we have three items, then you have to compare 2 times only, one comparison and then 2 comparisons. So if we have n elements, we need n minus 1 comparisons. So the outer loop will control how many comparisons is required. So for n number of elements we are doing n minus 1 comparison. Then we have inner loop, j equals to 0 to n minus k minus 1. So it is actually comparing from 0, from the very first element to the last element we are comparing in the first iteration. In the second iteration, we are initially we are comparing from the first element to the last element. Then we are comparing from the first element to the second last element. Then we are comparing from the first element to the third last element, because the last element we are removing every time, because the last element is the largest element we are getting by this logic. So initially when k equals to 1, so this becomes in the j loop. When k equals to 1, then j will go from 0 to n. When k equals to 2, then j will go from 0 to, you can see here, if you put the value here 2, this is n minus 1. So when k equals to 3, then j will be 0 to n minus 2. So you can see here that every time our number of comparisons is getting reduced. Okay, so how it will work? So we have this k equals to 1 to n minus 1. This is the outer loop. Then we go inside, and then what we are doing at each iteration. So you can see here, this is our question here. So this is the value where k equals to 1, and now we have to perform j iteration for these number of element. So what we are doing, if a of j is more than a of j plus 1, so we take a of j is what, j equals to 0. So j plus 1 is first index. So we are comparing a0 with, we are assuming that a is the array. If a of 0 is more than a of 1, then you need to swap. So we are comparing the first element, that is the element at the 0 index, with the element at the first index. We are comparing. If this element is more than this element, then only you need to swap. This is the logic for swapping. I believe that you know how to swap the two elements. So if it is the case, then we are swapping. If it is not the case, then what we will do? So what we observe here, uh, if a of 0 is more than a of 1, then definitely you are going to come here, because if condition gets true and you are going to swap. If it is not true, then what you will do, you will going to you go here, and then j will become 1. Then what you will do, uh, you will be comparing a of 1 with a of 2. If this condition is true, you are going to swap. Otherwise you are comparing a of 2 with a of 3. So you keep on comparing until the, this for the first iteration, you keep on comparing for the entire number of arrays, entire number of elements, sorry. Then when you finish your first iteration, when you compare with all the elements, you will come out of the j loop and go to the k outer loop, and then value will increment to 2. So next time when you do the comparison, you will, when k becomes 2, you will be only comparing 0 to n minus 1. Means uh, after the first iteration, this element will not be into consideration. You will be only comparing these four elements. Means you will compare these two, then these two, then these two, and stop. And in the third iteration, these elements are not into consideration. You will compare only these two, these two. So likewise you keep on doing, and when you stop, finally you get your array sorted. This is the logic of bubble sort. So I hope that you understood how it works. Let us understand what is the running time. Okay, so you can see, so we have realized that we are doing n minus, we are doing these operation n minus 1 time. So initially we are doing n minus 1 comparison. Now to find out the running time, we need to find out how many comparisons we are doing, and this number of comparisons will give us the total cost. So initially we are doing n minus 1 comparisons, then we are doing n minus 2 comparisons. Or you can assume like this: if you have 7 elements, so initially you are doing 6 comparisons, then next iteration you will do 5 comparisons, then 3 comparisons, then 2 comparisons, and then 1 comparison, and after that you will stop. So if the size is n, you will do n minus 1 comparison, then n minus 2 comparisons, then n minus 3 comparisons, and you keep on going. You are reaching to 1. So what is the total number of operations you did? How many total comparisons you did? So you did n minus 1 plus n minus 2 up to n, and if you look to this series, This is just an AP series whose which can be written as n into n minus 1 by 2. So when this is the total cost comes out of this expression, and this is nothing but this is something an expression which can be represented by n square. So our cost is big O of n square. Now one thing to understand, how it is different in from the selection shot. Obviously the logic is different, the approach is different, but again there is also a difference in the analysis, in the property. In the selection shot, now what is happening, let's say we are having a sorted list. We are having a list like this: 2, 9, 16, 24, 32. Now this is sorted list. If we use selection sort, then even if the list is sorted, you need to compare with every other element. You need to do all the comparisons. It is not getting affected by the nature of the input. That's why it is not adaptive, and its running time is big O of n square. But if we apply bubble sort, and if the input is already sorted, then the moment when you complete the first iteration, and if there is no swapping happening, so what we are doing in the first iteration, in every iteration we are comparing the two elements. We compare this two, then we compare this two, then we compare this two, then we compare this two, and after every iteration, if there is no swapping happening, that means our list is already sorted, and then you can exit from this logic. There is no need to go to the next iteration of I, and this will improve the performance. In the case it will not take big O of n square, then it will simply take big O of n time. It will do only n comparisons, and that is the answer. So you can say the best case of bubble sort is big O of n, where it does only n comparisons, and it is the case when the list is already sorted. But in the case of selection sort, the running time will always be n square, whatever be your input nature. So bubble sort is adaptive in nature, but most of the time our interest is to focus on the worst case. So in terms of worst case, both are actually same performance, that is big O of n square. So I hope you understood that how the bubble sort works and what about its analysis. uh, this is the logic that we have discussed. Now you can write a program and see that how it works, and are you able to sort the given sequence or not. Okay, so in the next video we will be discussing more about different sorting algorithms. This is all for this video, and see you again. Take care. Bye for now.